Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another Total War Warhammer 2 guide. Today we are looking at the Dark Elf magic. So here in front of us we've got the Spice Girls. You've got Sporty, Baby, Slutty One, and Scary Spice. We've also going to show you in this video, what's his face? Hoodrima Flip. That, you know, the dude. Big, scary dude. Malekith! Well, just forget the main dude. But obviously I can't show you in the same custom battle because Morathi's here. Both legendary lords, we'll go through those in detail. But we've got the Sorceress of Shadow, Fire and Dark. And then Morathi, who's, you know, got a mix of everything, mainly darky stuff. But we're going to show you in each individual. Obviously, there's a ton of spells to go through, so rather than sort of describing each one in detail, I'll just sort of show you, you know, you can pause the video and look at the rules themselves. So as you can see, the three sorceresses are going to have the same stats. They're very fragile because they're mostly naked. Got no armour. Leadership's good. Speed's okay. Weapon, they do a little bit of damage, but you really don't obviously want to get them into fights, and they've got a charge bonus. Good for them. So all the sorceresses have missile resistance. They've got the encourage ability. They've got the hide in the forest. They've got the murderous prowess that we see all Dark Elves having. So the first ability that the Shadow Sorceress has is the Smoke and Mirrors, and constant around yourself, and Smoke and Mirrors for 24 seconds plus 12 speed. So speeding up shit. We got Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. That's not. That's quite hard to say when you're drunk. And then we have. I'm just, like I said, you can read on. I'm just going to sort of talk about anything that really sort of sticks out or something like this. Big debuff here. Nice range of 200. We've got the Penumbral Pendulum. Really spent some time doing these spell names, didn't they, from Gold Games Workshop, which is a big fat wind spell. Then we've got another debuff, which is good. So lots of debuffs with this magic. Occam's Mind Razor, famous spell in the tabletop version, gives... This is a nice, interesting one, because there's not many spells that do this. It gives the unit cast on it a magical damage. Plus, obviously, it makes that damage really good. But that's a really nice one to remember. It does cost quite a lot for what it is. But it is quite valuable. And then we've got the Pit of Shades, which everybody hated in the tabletop because it did a shit ton of damage. Big vortex spell that does a lot of damage. So if we move on, next up we've got Baby Spice, the Fire Sorceress. Same stats. She has her passive, so to speak, is her Kindle Flame. Plus 22 weakness to fire damage. Well, that's lucky because you've got flames and shit and fireballs and fire pillars and fire vortexy stuff. So that's quite handy then. Basically, everything she does is more damage. You could theme an army around that to have some more fire damage as well. We've got the fireball. I'm not even going to explain what a fireball does. It's a fireball. It fires balls. Cascading Fire Cloak, which is a buff for yourself or an ally unit. We've got the Flaming Sword of Ruin. Again, so this goes well with what we're talking about. So she can imbue a unit within 200 metres, and all units within 40 minutes of that give them magical and fire damage, which they already have a susceptibility to. This is why I really like fire. Then you've got the Burning Head. We have the Flame Storm, which is another vortex, and the Piercing Bolts of Burning. Again, magical fire damage, all that good stuff. Large strike area, but differently, it's good against a single unit or small, heavily armoured units, which is really, really nice. So lots of damage, that one. So overall, they obviously have a bit of everything, but Shadow is more debuffy, Buffy, Sorceress is more just plain old damage, and then we have the Dark magic. This is, what was it, Slutty Spice. So they have all the same abilities. They've got Spiteful Conjuration, which is minus 15 armour for everyone. It's very nice. Power of Darkness, which basically means you can cast more spells, but does cause damage to yourself. A Chill Wind, a wind weapon with a debuff, which is... It's nice when they've got, you know, two effects to it. Does a bit of damage. Not a massive amount of damage, but reduces speed. We've got a massive debuff here. Really good, obviously, against artillery and ranged units and stuff like that. But also... It's a versatile one because it's got melee attack. It's quite weird that you'd have minus 60% accuracy and then melee attack. So it can be used against anything, but there's not many spells that just sort of debuff ranged units like that, so that's good. We've got the Blade Wind, which is a big vortexy spell. We've got Doom Bolt, magical homing missiles, small strike area, Strong versus single combatant or single unit, so obviously more of an assassin spell. And we have Soul Stealer, causes damage to combatants, absorbing hit points from enemies. Strong versus, so much more individual based her spells compared to, like, say, the Fire Wizard or even the Shadow, or even the what's it? The Shadow. There we go. Words. Then we have the Legendary Lord. You can tell because she's got crazy hair. Absolute. How do you fight with hair like that? That's bonkers. I do like the weapon though. What's wrong with me? I'm looking at the weapon instead of the boobies. Right. Okay. Moving on. So because she has a halberd, she has the added bonus that she's got anti-large and armor piercing. Again, shitty armor. Very, very good leadership. Decent all-round stats, really. 340 weapon strength, 240 armor piercing. So she has a little bit of a different one. She can fight a bit more, but you still don't really want her piling in. You can use her as a sort of secondary attacker when you've got no power or whatever, but get stuck in with her. All the sort of usual stats. Then we have the Murderous Prowess. We have the Life Leeching, improved power recharge rate. Lovely. More spells is good. The map-wide debuff. We've got the Greater Arcane Conduit. More spells. She's just going to be casting for fun. She's got Enchanting Beauty. I'll give that to you. Yeah, you got a good body. I'll give you that. Which is constant around the self. Anybody within 40 meters has reduced charge bonus and melee attack, which is quite nice. Doom and Darkness, which is a hex, minus 16 leadership. Good if you want to break the enemy line. Soul Blight. The armor and weapon damage debuff. As we saw, lots more debuffs on this. We've got the Miasma, that's good against a single opponent. The Pit of Shades, that does a shit ton of damage. Power of Darkness, more improved power recharge rate. She is just going to be spamming spells. The Soul Stealer and the Deadly Onslaught. So, obviously she's sort of an upgraded version on the other girls. But generally speaking, you've got the fire, which is damage. It's damaged, and that's why I love it. I just like casting spells that fuck up lots of enemies. What we could do is actually, while we're just having a quick chat, we can go and cast some spells. I handily have a few Skaven friends coming to visit, and what I'm going to do is just charge her in just for shits and giggles, really. But with the others, we're going to cast some spells. We've only got 13 power, so it's not going to be a massive amount of spells. I could use her to recharge and stuff like that. Let's go with, what's it, 150 meters. We've got a Blade Wind coming up. What's that? It's not that far, is it? Okay. Come on, Skaven. Come on, come closer. But basically, like I said, the fire damage is where your main damage is at. I'm just going to forget everything. Now, the Shadow has a lot of sort of debuffy stuff. So, me personally, I'm just going to use the debuffy stuff. Are they going to come and get her? Come on. Come on, I just want to see you in combat. I like this charge. It's like Jon Snow, this bit. Go for it. Winter's coming. It's already here. There's snow everywhere. Right, let's have a look. Oh, the little cheeky roll in there. And as you can see, this grey sort of weird shit coming down is her debuff. And she's beginning to kick some ass. But like all mages, she can kick some ass. So we're sending in the little doody thing. What are you lot doing here, you lazy? Lazy. Let's go and cast this Blade Wind just so we can have a look at it. Right, let's stick it there. Oh, and they've charged. They turn around. Yeah. It's a wind with blades spinning about. Obviously, with any vortex spell, it is quite random where they go. Let's classic. What should we go for here? Fireball. Let's lob a fireball. You have to target a unit with a fireball. It can't be on the area. That'll do. We'll just chuck one of them down. See if we can do some damage. Here it comes. Any moment. Now. There it is. Eventually gets there. Obviously it's Skaven, so they're just going to just burn and run away at some point. But as you can see, fighting-wise, even against... Okay, they do have a Warlord, but fighting-wise, they do lose out quite quickly. Like with any wizard, you don't want to get them too involved in combat. this one, Morathi, I'm just going to go Morathi. Morathi can get involved in combat a little bit more. She sort of can stick it out a little bit. But still, she's only fighting clan rats, and she's losing health fast. So, like any wizard, just be a bit careful with them. They've got tons of spells. My personal favourite is fire, because who doesn't love a fireball? It's the most classic of spells. Thank you very much for watching this guide. We'll now skip to the... how do I forget his name every single time? You can tell I was never a tabletop Dark Elf player. Never a massive fan of the elves, to be honest, on the Dark Elf. So let's go and have a quick look at Malekith before we finish up. Right, so here is Malekith, the badass one of them all. The fateful High Elf that got burned and then turned against the High Elves and just decided to destroy everyone. He's got a nice hat on, hasn't he? He's got a nice hat. So, just to let you know, so Morathi can go on a Dark Pegasus, her pet one called Sulfet, I think the name is, whereas Malekith can go on a Cold One Chariot or a Black Dragon, his own personal Black Dragon called Seraphon, because they all have easily pronounceable names. What we will do is we'll get him into combat in a minute as well, just to, you know, kill some Skaven on his own. So, obviously, Malekith is an absolute badass. He's a spellcaster, but he's also a fighter. He's the best of both worlds. You can get him stuck in and cast spells. I've had a lot of fun with him on the campaign because he just destroys people. He's got a good armour, really good leadership, good speed, melee attack 65, defense 45, 420 for the weapon strength, 147 armor piercing, so he's good all-rounder. He's got physical resistance of 20%, he's got the missile resistance, he causes fear, he's got the encourage ability, he can hide in a forest, we kind of know that. He's immune to psychology because he's a nutcase, he's got the murderous prowess, Spite, so a lot of these are obviously the same spells, so he's got the debuff, the map-wide debuff, he's got Power of Darkness, meaning more spells, always good, Chill Wind, he's got the Word of Pain, which is another fat big debuff, he's got the Blade Wind, which is fantastic. He's also got the Doom Bolt, and he's got the Soul Stealer, he's also got Gaze of Malice, which is a breath weapon that does a lot of damage, and also Stand Your Ground, so he's got that big cheeky buff to all his buddies. So it's a really nice character to have because you can sit him at the back and just cast spells, or you can send him in and do still fight and do this. In the campaign, I found Chillwind to be really useful, especially upgraded, because it's only 5 power, so you can cast it a lot, and it's actually does a decent amount of damage. It disrupts the enemy line. So this one I like spamming quite a lot, because obviously a lot of the other big spells, the Blade Wind's 11 power, Doom Bolt's 11. So if you're a little bit low on power and stuff like this, but you want to keep casting spells, this is the one to do it. It does have a minimum range. You can't hit the guys you're in close combat with, but what you can do is quite a bit of damage. Look at that, it's beautiful, and it's a really good disruption spell as well. It's got quite a short cooldown. You can go in and do some proper damage. Let's go for a Blade Wind, shall we? Let's see how that goes. How you doing, boys? How you doing? It's only me, I'm on my own, don't worry about it. Right, there he goes. Now he's going to start ripping through this. Just like any character, obviously you don't want him sitting on his own. We'll do a bit of damage to ourselves so we can recharge a bit of power a bit quicker. We've got the Gaze of Malice, which is another little sort of breath weapon. We'll go that way. Oh, it's got a minimum, isn't it? Oh. I'm not going to really hit anybody. Hit the back row there. They thought they were safe, but no. So, as you can see, he does lots of damage. He's got lots of spells. You can use him in conjunction with your sort of frontline guys. Can we have a Doom Bolt, please, on that unit? So a lot of the breath stuff has a minimum range. We'll go with the Doom Bolt just to see how he's getting on. There we go. Eventually, woohoo! That killed my frame rate. That did. He's not having a good day. He's got 0 kills. I like the fact we've broken them. Can we not? How far does this have to be away? That's nasty. Okay, we're not having that. We're going to have Power of Darkness. Oh, that's the Buffy thing, isn't it? Right. So yeah. So just like any big hero, sorry, I got carried away with killing rats. Then let's go with this. How close? Oh, I'm going to be able to get. That one dude. Look. As you can see, he's a badass. I don't know why he says he hasn't killed anybody. Oh, no, there we go. 165. I was just highlighting somebody else. 165 kills, obviously. We did lose. But everything you can do, like, the world is your oyster when it comes to Malekith. You can be a front line, helping the main troops out. You can be sitting at the back casting spells. The nicest thing about that is the way I prefer to use him was to get him into combat, get him fighting, and then if I ever need to withdraw him, whether it's an enemy unit I don't want to fight, or I'm low on power, oh sorry, not low on power, but if there's an enemy unit I don't want to fight, but also if he's low on hit points, just withdraw him and use him as a standard caster and do a shit ton of damage then. So there we go. There's our guide for our superheroes. Obviously, Malekith is the badass of them all for me, but I do like the fire sorceress as well. They're my two personal favourites. But let me know what you think in the comments. Which is your personal favourite lore? I'd really be interested to know. I just like doing damage. Thank you very much. I'm a simple man. Thank you very much for watching. Go check out all my other Warhammer videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.